Welcome back to the FIT40 Podcast, where we simplify exercise and nutrition for busy parents 40 plus so they can improve their health and feel amazing. I'm your host, Brian Fitzsimmons, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach for people over 40 since 2015. And today we have an awesome topic on deck. We're going to talk all about how to stop late night snacking. So this is a big deal, a big thing that a lot of people are struggling with right now because they just can't stop eating later at night, and it's really throwing off their goals, whether it's fat loss or just trying to maintain where they're at, and they want to make sure that we nip it in the bud and make sure that doesn't stop them from achieving their goals. So let's talk about it in detail. But before we do, make sure that if you're not already, go ahead and hit that follow or subscribe button so that way you do not miss another episode going forward. And that's all I'll say about that. Okay, so let's get into it. Enough dilly-dallying. Let's talk about how to stop late night snacking. Okay, before we talk about any specific tips, before I just rattle off like do this, do that, do this, do that, it can help to understand, number one, why the hell are we snacking in the first place? Because if we don't know the cause, we can't really treat it. So number one, what is that cause? Okay, is it real hunger? Is it that you are just not getting enough calories throughout the day? Maybe you are eating way too low calories to the point where your body compensates and fights you on it and says, hey, asshole, I need more than this. And that is a thing that happens a lot of times where people say, oh, I'm eating only 1,200 calories, but I'm not losing weight. When in reality, they're eating 1,200 calories throughout the day. And then when it comes to late night, we're not tracking all the snacks that make it in or these little things that add up and accumulate over time. Because guess what? Your body needs more than 1,200 calories throughout the day from meals. And this is like one of the biggest tips that comes from one of my friends and who's actually been on the show previously, Mike Dola. He's like, one of the simplest hacks to people being able to lose weight with a much easier time is just get rid of snacking. Like eat enough during your meals to actually satiate yourself and feel full. And that can help so much. And we see it happen on like vacations a lot where we actually have sit down meals and we feel satiated and we don't feel the need to eat all this stuff later in the day because we actually are eating enough calories. And then we come home lighter and we're like, whoa, it's magic. Okay, no, we just got rid of the snacking. Number two is it the routine? Is it your normal thing? Is it the environment that you're in? Is this just how you live your life? And that needs to change. So are you constantly hearing those whispers from the pantry saying, eat me, you know, I'm in here. I'm on the third shelf just behind this. Like, you know exactly where those foods are that drive you nuts, that you always constantly crave. And it's just part of your routine. You get done with your dinner and you're like, okay, I need something sweet, or, ooh, I need something salty. And that's just what you've been doing for so long that it's now just a part of your normal way of doing things. Number three is it boredom, stress, or anything like that? Because if it's a boredom thing and you just have nothing to do, then we can solve that issue by filling the boredom, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But if it's a boredom coping strategy, and honestly, many of the times snacking is a coping strategy, then let's attack that. Okay. And like I just said, stress. Is it a stress thing? Like, are we avoiding something? Are we coping for something else going on that we are using food to replace? Like the common example I give is I used to work with somebody who found out while working through this with their therapist that they were actually using food to avoid intimacy with their partner. And they had no idea. They're just like, oh, this is just something I always did. And then they talked about it deeply with some certified professional, like somebody who's qualified to have that conversation, and they uncovered that. So it could be something like that. Restriction mindset. That is another one too, where we say we can't have this. No, even though it's literally right there, we buy it every single week and it's sitting in our fridge or in our pantry, and we say, no, we can't have that. And we're fighting it so long, like over and over and over again, all these thoughts of, you know, you want it, you know, you want it, you know, you want it. And eventually it gets to be too much where you're like, screw it. I'll just have it this one time. And then it just happens over and over and over again. Okay. So it could be that. It could be that we are so low on energy due to eating so few calories, or maybe we didn't get good sleep, because sleep is huge when it comes to snacking. Because if you get poor sleep, you actually are more likely to snack and to overeat the next day, because number one, you're feeling tired, so you're not moving as much, so you're burning less calories. Number two, the decision-making center of your brain is fatigued and it's affected, so you're more likely to make decisions that don't line up with your goals. And along with that, you are now more likely to crave certain things that are salty, that are sweet, that hit those pleasure centers in the brain and give us that satisfaction that we're craving to give us a little bit of relief from that fatigue. So that could be playing a role. Another thing is just being mindless about it because it's a routine or because you're bored and you just start doing it and then you lose track of how much you're actually eating because you just have the bag right in front of you or the bowl and you're not really paying attention to how much it is. You just kind of get lost in it. And I'm guilty of this. I know I personally love certain aspects of it, like mouthfeel, like the crunchiness or the taste on the tongue. Like there's many aspects that come into snacking and cravings that aren't just the act of doing it. Sometimes it's the enjoyment. Like some people do genuinely enjoy just eating, the act of eating, chewing and doing that. It's kind of like chewing gum, like that sensation. And sometimes that is what's going on. But at the end of the day, we got to recognize what it is. And it might be more than just one of these things. It could be multiple of these things. But if we identify what the cause is, then we can have a more strategic way of going about it rather than doing something that we think should be helping, but it's not addressing the actual real reason. And we're just spinning our wheels, wasting our time and getting pissed off. So all this to say, why the heck do we even need to address this? Like, why can't we just snack all the time? And I know I previously mentioned this already, but it really comes down to the calorie side of things because most people who are listening to this who want to stop late night snacking, more likely than not, are trying to lose a bit of weight. Because if you're able to snack all the time and you don't gain weight and you're happy with where you're at, then why cut that out? Like, why stop unless it's like negatively affecting your blood work or your energy levels, which totally valid also. But I'm going to address most people that are trying to lose that body fat, and that is going to come from being in a calorie deficit. Your calories matter. Even if you're not counting calories, calories still matter because they drive the bus. Everybody's needs are different. Calories are very, very finicky, and you need to understand all the different parts of the equation, like the hormones, like the stressors, like the lifestyle, and all that influences the number. But at the end of the day, you need to eat a certain amount of calories to achieve the results that you want. And if we ignore that fact, then we're setting ourselves up for a lot of frustration and feeling helpless and feeling like we have no control in the situation. So if you want to be responsible for your own results and you want to own this and you want to be in control, we need to control those calories in the right way. Okay. And when we snack a lot, it just drives those calorie numbers up. Like I mentioned, Mike Dola, he's the guy who created Stronger You, which is arguably the most, I guess you could say, successful nutrition coaching company because they got people to understand that numbers matter. And guess what? When people paid attention to their numbers, they saw amazing results and it just grew the business like crazy. And that's because of the calories. You got to understand where you're at and what you need. So snacking, let's try and reduce that as much as we can in general, not just late at night. And it can help when we're talking about calories and budgeting and understanding how to use them. It can help to pre-plan. So like if you do want a snack, you can have a snack. Just make sure it fits into your calories instead of doing it mindlessly. So like, for example, if you want to like have popcorn while you watch some Netflix, just budget 200 calories. And that way we're not just winging it or saying, I think this fits, or I feel like this isn't that much. And then you get pissed off and feel stuck. Whereas if you budget the 200 calories, you know it's in your calories and you know what to expect and you see the scale moving the way you want it to. So now you can have your cake and eat it too. All right. But let's just say we want to take it to that point where we get to that place where we don't have to snack at all. We're more in control of the situation. We only snack when we want to, not when we feel like we need to. Okay. So let's talk about environment. Let's get those tempting foods out of the house if possible. Now, I know I say this and the immediate backlash is, well, my spouse, well, my kids, or well, I always get this. And hey, I get it. Everybody's situation is different. We've got a lot going on, and take this for what it's worth and apply it in a way that you can. But if possible, try and get those trigger foods, the ones that whisper to you, out of the house. Okay. So do your best with that. Or one of my favorite things to do if you do have kids or a spouse that are like, no, I want this, buy it. And if that is the situation that you're in, try and find a middle ground where you can buy them things that they really enjoy that you could give a shit about. Like you really are not affected by it in one way or another. Like there are foods that they love that you truly don't care about. And if you were feeling like a craving or something like that, even with the craving going on, you're looking at that food and you're like, I don't really want that. Okay. So if there are foods like that, that's a great compromise and a great middle ground for that type of situation. But again, the focus needs to be on getting those foods that affect you the most out, but at the same time, not creating a restriction mindset. Because when we keep these foods out, we don't want to say, I can never have them. They're out of the plan completely because I'm eliminating sugar, or one of these dumb approaches that never end up working long term. Okay. You get it out of the house, but you give yourself the ability to get it if you want it from a gas station or from the grocery store in a single serving. So if the craving is so intense and you want that snack late at night and you're willing to put your shoes on, tie up those shoes, put a jacket on, grab your keys, go to the car, turn the car on, drive all the way there, get it, check out. I'm getting tired just like talking about all the steps that are involved. Okay. Basically, you get the gist. If you're willing to put in all of that effort to go get it, then by all means, you deserve to go have that. But this is where laziness turns into a superpower. If you feel too lazy to do that, then guess what? It's now working in your favor being lazy. You're like, I don't want to do that, so I'm just not going to eat that snack. And there's nothing at home that's really tickling my fancy. So it's like, all right, I'll just not have a snack tonight. And we have fixed that issue. So that could be one way that works really well. Another thing too that can help, a lot of times it's something that we need to satisfy boredom or anything like that. Having distractions can help a lot. And more specifically, having something in your hands that can help as a way to give you something to do. So something like journaling, knitting, or crafting, if you like doing that, stretching, doing some light yoga, something restorative, like some active recovery, even brushing your teeth, because after you brush your teeth, guess what? You have that minty flavor. That spearmint actually dulls hunger and dulls cravings for some people. So that could help a lot too. And at the end of the day, this creates boundaries to make it harder to do the things that you don't actually want to do. So this could be really, really, really beneficial and help make it so much easier. And also, because I forgot to put this on my list, I do this and it works great, is playing video games, because not only am I like, my hands are, taken care of and they can't grab food because I have a controller in my hand, but also my mouth can't really operate because I'm talking to friends. Like, I'm doing things that involve my voice. So I'm not trying to like be that guy crunching into the microphone and making my friends hate me. So all these things are positive boundaries that we can create to reduce the amount of times that we do it, because the key thing is that we're not really trying to completely eliminate this because we don't want to breed that restriction mindset. It's all about going from doing this 6-7 days out of the week to maybe just one, or maybe once every other week, because that's realistic. That's a lifestyle. That's something that we can actually stick to. And then last but not least, one of my favorite ones is creating a nighttime ritual that signals the kitchen is closed. Just like if you were going into a bar or restaurant and you walk in a little bit too late and they say, tough shit, like, sorry, we're closed, like, kitchen's closed, we turn the ovens off, like, you're shit out of luck. Okay. That can work really well with your nighttime routine being that signal. So simple things like sipping on some tea, like some nighttime tea, or reading, or going for like a short walk after you eat, as a way to tell your brain that, hey, the eating window is over. And that's like one of the big benefits of things like intermittent fasting, for example. Is fasting magic for fat loss? No. But one of the big things that it teaches that can be super helpful with keeping our calories in check and creating positive routines is that cutoff point, saying this is where my window is closed. So take the good from that and use it in your own journey. Okay. And on top of that, you could double down and pair it with good stuff that'll help, like sleep hygiene, making sure that we turn the lights down, turn the screens off, get to bed at the exact same time, Monday through Sunday, within like an hour-ish of where you're at. Because again, remember, when sleep is affected and we're not getting good sleep, it's going to intensify cravings and increase the amount of times that we snack later at night. So we can have this positive cascade of all these awesome things happening at the same time, working in your benefit, rather than having all these things negatively impacting you and making it feel like it's impossible. Okay. So these are my big things that I think can help a ton when it comes to late night snacking. And I hope that you can take at least one of these things and apply it to your own journey, and it'll help with this issue. And if you want to take it to that like next level where it's like, okay, late night snacking is taken care of, but I got all this other stuff going on. I feel really low energy throughout the day. I just can't lose that weight that I want to lose. I feel like I need that next level. That's what the first 5 is for. That's what online coaching is for with FIT40. So if you haven't heard me talk about the first 5, basically it's the first month of online coaching where I teach you how to lose that first 5 pounds in a sustainable way. Not I just cut your carbs and you lose that weight in the first week and I tell you, hey, I'm magical, but then it comes right back because I just cut carbs or something like keto. And that's not the way I do things. Okay. When you lose that first 5, it stays off for good. And it sets the foundation to keep losing and to keep getting to that place that you want to get to. So if you want to learn more about that, go ahead, click that link down in the description or the show notes, wherever you're watching or listening. And that'll tell you a whole lot more about it because I don't want to bore you with all the details. All right. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for making it all the way through. I will see you in the next episode. But until then, go kick some ass. Bye-bye.